Well, one of them little typos. I'm starting to set up the reinforcements for the upcoming year. Just so that I have them sorted so I don't have to go through the counter tray every month searching for stuff. I find this a lot easier. Anyway, the annoyance here is we got the third Senegal unit showing up here. I assume that's what it is. And then we have it showing up again here at full strength. Back here it's at half strength. I don't know what to do with that. Give them an extra strength point? Or do they owe 2? I looked that up in the online silver version of the rules, and well, that error is still there. If it indeed it's an error. Maybe there's some other 3 sen in here, but I don't think so. Anyway, one thing I did do in addition, though, is I peeked at the Hindenburg line, and that seems to have been fixed. Actually, the way I would have more or less ruled it. You just need an engineer on the double rail track, and you can build it. That fits the historical model well, but there's kind of a gee. So once again, we're seeing that the printed rule book that comes with this edition, and I believe this is the only edition available for now until it's reprinted, is inadequate, which, hey, you got to print out your living rules. Pretty major little issues here and there. Problem, of course, well, the fact that there is no changelog means that you can't just mark up your rule book. So it means you have to have access to a printer and have an inferior quality product than the printed bound rule book that you've got because of that omission. But you can also see there still are some ambiguities, as I mentioned in one of the other videos, that are still there, and as well as, well, this error is still there. So I assume that there are others in the force pool. Probably nobody else picks each unit out specifically. That's sort of the anal retentive way to play, right? I'm probably not going to upgrade my Germans based on that, because I think that's historically, somewhat inaccurate. But the problem with it not doing it that way is that you could double upgrade the same unit, and that probably would also be disturbing. So I don't have a lot of answer for that, except that maybe I'll only upgrade units that I want to upgrade or something, and I'll pick for the counters for it. I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, that's it for this. I think here's the answer. The 3 Senegal original unit is withdrawn. Now that means you have to withdraw a strength point to get this back, I guess, and it's got to be a Senegalese strength point or something. But essentially it's an increase of the strength of it. So that is probably not an error. We'll see. So I can say one thing: if you don't follow this carefully, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble, because there's no annotation as to nationality of these things other than, say, British reinforcement schedule here. In particular, I was looking for, what is it, this 36th Infantry. Looks just like any other 7.4. There's tons and tons of British 7.4s. Well, the 36th happens not to be a regular British unit. It happens to be one of these foreign nationals. Now, in some cases, those are pretty easy to distinguish, like when it says 1st Canadian, I know to look there. But when it doesn't have any kind of designation that differs it from the other 7.4s in the game, and there are tons and tons of them that are set up, it's kind of, there's no way to notice. There's no marking on here to indicate, yeah, this isn't really an English unit. There's also the difficulty, like we saw before with the withdrawals. And, they keep happening, and then sometimes they're withdrawing and coming back in later. I'm sure it's very historical. I'm sure it's fine, and I've got no problem. I just wish there was some notation on them. Now, if I had a pencil with me, I would be annotating my rule book at this point with them. It's just one of those things that should be available anytime you have this kind of thing, because it is going to be kind of confusing to a player to see that. Now, I looked at the more modern rule books, and they don't have that either. Hopefully, before they actually go to printing with the revised edition, you'll start to see that kind of changes. I don't know if the other versions have that, but it eases the setup and the continuation of these campaigns rather than creating this big headache every time that you are playing. Well, with all the withdrawals and introduction of the German units, trying to preset this didn't work too well. It's going to be a significant amount of work as each month comes. I'll try to keep the withdrawal units aside as I did last year to make sure that I look at them first for anything missing. If I don't find it there, then it means digging through everything again and trying to find them. Kind of a painful process, but the only way I can be sure I've got the right thing is to find it. I'm not sure how big a difference it makes if I've got a unit that's not a mountain unit it's supposed to be or something. And actually those are well integrated because it mentions infantry and mountain as different classes of units. So where it's important, they kind of tell you if it's a foreign unit, an Algerian versus a French, for example, how big a deal is it? Well, I don't know, but I'm trying to keep it all in alignment here. Now I've got to do the trenches. Yeah, this is a lot of tedious work every month. Well, every year getting this all set up, but every month there's a tedious effort of the entrenching. It's kind of a big deal because, well, I pretty much know everything's covered here, but I can't be absolutely certain. So I do have to recheck and make sure everything that can be at least has an entrenchment producing marker on it. Alright, something of a painful interlude here. Completing the entrenching, this line down to here has become entrenched now as we've swung down. Over here less so, but there's kind of sporadic places along here where both sides are entrenched, even though they're, for the most part, they haven't fully completed it. And they're having to, repair those places where the French had to fall back, build new lines, as it were. This is becoming, Reims is becoming a weak point, actually, and it's a valuable spot. So that may prove to be a little bit of a trouble. All right. Well, after a little break, watching some World War I vids, I think I'll be back to this.